you're determined to learn how to cook just like me, I think one of the best places for us to all start is a classic meal. One that you can make for your friends and impress them, or just make any day of the week for your family. Today I have Chef Patricia Jimenez of Gourmet for Today, and she's going to teach us just that, the classic meal. Hi, Patricia.
Hey, Zeus. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're going to make the classic of the classics, the roasted chicken, and we're going to pair that with another classic, mashed potatoes.
Ooh, that sounds delicious already.
Yes, so we've got our whole array of what we need today. We're just going to go across the board. We've got some carrots, got some parsnips, onions, garlic, lemon. I know you're like, what's this lemon for? We're going to actually stuff the bird with some lemon. We got some fresh herbs here. Thyme, bay leaves, rosemary, and some sage. Sage is not required. None of this is really required. Whatever you like is what you should use. We got some canola oil, just so our vegetables don't stick. And you might be wondering, what's the canola oil for? I see your face. Because we're actually not going to use a roasting pan. Because the Clueless cook, like you, I know you don't have one of these at home. You don't have a roasting pan, right?
I have one in storage actually that I registered for when I got married, but I haven't used it yet.
It doesn't come out.
It doesn't come out.
Big,
I do use this for breakfast.
Yeah, I took this out of your cupboard. So this is just a regular old cast iron skillet. So we're actually going to roast the chicken, not fry. We're roasting our chicken in this, but we don't actually have a roasting rack that's going to fit in this. So the parsnips, carrots, and onions are actually going to be our roasting rack.
Oh, that's great. And I bet they're going to taste delicious after.
They're going to taste amazing because it's actually all the chicken drippings are going to get right onto the onions and the carrot and parsnip, and it's going to be amazing.
That sounds so good.
Yeah. So
let's get started.
Want to get started?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to have you. I've already rinsed these off, but if you could just peel them for me, yeah. And there's a little bowl over there for you.
Okay.
Great. And I'm going to get started with our onion. I'm just going to peel off the skin.
Okay.
Have it on its side, and I'm going to take my chef's knife, and I'm just going to slice off the ends first. Okay.
Okay.
And then have it. Now it's nice and stable. And stick it right there, and slice it one more time, right down the long side.
Oh, great. So slice off the ends and then turn it upright. And then slice it down the middle.
Exactly. And what that happens now, the paper just comes right off. I don't have to mess with it or get a paring knife and try to peel it with a knife and possibly hurt myself. And it comes right off. Here's another. Do you want to try this one, Zeus?
Yes, I would love to try this one. Why don't you finish that carrot?
I will.
Let me see. Okay, so I would normally cut an onion straight down the middle.
Yeah.
So I just learned something new. So first you said cut off the ends.
Yep.
I love working with this knife.
Yes,
it's amazing what happens when you work with a nice sharp knife. Okay, so instead of doing it this way, I'm going to cut it straight down the middle.
You got it.
Okay, great. And now the skin should come right off.
Yep.
Right?
Just put your finger.
You're right, it does come off pretty easily.
Yeah.
Quickly, so I won't start crying. There's so many rumors about how not to cry when you're cooking.
Oh, I know.
When you're cutting onion. I've heard if you cut it over the faucet with the water running.
Oh, good. There's so many. And you know what? Just get it done and get it out of the way. Let me just get a quick wipe.
Further now?
Yep, and we're gonna chunk them up, just even chunks. So
in this direction?
Maybe go 3
with the grain.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, looks good. Let's put that there.
And this way you get your veggies in and your protein.
Good stuff.
So can you line the bottom of that skillet with any vegetables, or should they be more like root vegetables and sturdy vegetables?
Really, it's just anything that you think will be cooked by the time you finish up with your chicken. Carrots, parsnips, celery root, if you're into that, any other type of root vegetable. It's really, the main purpose is you're really just trying to line it so that the chicken is not sitting in its own juices, so it's not actually boiling or frying. So, yep, let's just get started. The canola oil, and we're just gonna just drizzle a little bit in there. That's good. Okay. You just so that it doesn't stick. I'm actually gonna swirl it a little. That's good enough. Okay. Just dump it right in there, those onions, so we can get it out of the way. Okay, good.
And these carrots, are we gonna put them in whole?
No, we're actually gonna slice them up too. And carrots and parsnips, they're kind of tough and they're kind of really hard to get in there. And they roll, they got knobs, and you're like, what's going on here? So I'm gonna show you just how to slice safely and efficiently. And what you want to do when you're slicing something hard like this, and in general, this is a good technique. You don't want to just go straight down, because that's really hard. I mean, you really have to put all your leverage and all your effort into it. So what you want to try to do is go down and forward, if you can imagine that. and like that. So when you come back,
Like
it's
a
almost like
rotating
it's
motion.
almost like an ellipse, like that. So you want to go down and forward, and it just happens really fast.
Okay,
So try it with your knife.
That was a little one. So down and forward.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's a subtle motion.
Exactly, and these are pretty small. So, but if you have a big honking carrot, it's gonna be
right.
hard. So, and let's just cut these into chunks, like similar to what the onion we have here. So, yeah, and then I'm gonna cut mine on a little bit of an angle just to make it a little prettier. Why not?
I'll try that. It's amazing what just turning your knife a little bit will do.
Boom. Now you got cute angled
Now they're
cuts.
fancy carrots.
I'm gonna just grab these.
Beautiful.
Dump it in our skillet. And our skillet is ready to go for our chicken.
Oh, perfect. Look at those pretty colors. I love that.
Yeah. So now it's time for our chicken. So we're gonna switch out this board, Zuzy, because this is a wooden board, beautiful board that you have here, but really it's not for the chicken or any raw protein. You really wanna use a plastic board that you can sanitize, and you can't sanitize this one. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna clean up a little here too and get rid of some of these peelings that we had here. Here's our, bring over the chicken. Okay. This is about a 5-pound bird, and we've rinsed it out already. Make sure you rinse out your chicken inside and out, and then you want to pat it dry with a paper towel.
So you should rinse your chicken thoroughly before you even start working on it.
Exactly. Yeah, just to
give it a little bath.
Give it a little bath.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good enough for now. Sure.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to take the chicken off your hands here. Give me another paper towel. It's a little wet on the bottom. Next thing, you can take that.
Okay.
Dry the baby.
So again, with any kind of handling raw meat, you want to wash your hands before and after thoroughly.
Absolutely. So first thing, with most whole chickens, Zuz, is that they're going to have some giblets and neck bones and things inside. So we're going to first remove those. Sometimes it comes in a little baggie, and sometimes it just comes up loose. I feel loose ones in here. So, see, did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So that's actually the heart. There you go.
Oh, we're learning anatomy of the chicken here.
There's the neck bone.
Do people eat the giblets?
You know what? Some people actually really enjoy it. My mom loves this stuff. So she will actually stick it right in the roasting pan, right with the chicken alongside of it. It actually cooks a lot faster because it's so small. And she'll just pick right in there as she's basting. She'll pick it out and eat it. So some people like it. Now look at this little flappy thing here. It's a little bit of extra fat. Really don't want that in the chicken. It's going to make it look just not so pretty, and it's just a lot of extra fat that'll render and really make everything greasy. So we're actually going to take our boning knife right here, and we're going to actually just slice it right off.
Now, how much are you going to cut off? Are you going to go all the way in here?
I'm actually just, see this, it's a little bit of different color. This is skin, this is actually just fat. I just want to get that fat off. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to right off here.
And this smaller knife is better to use on this type of cutting?
Yeah, you know what, it really is, because, I'm going to get a little bit more here. It really is, because it's smaller and it, can really get into this, tight corner, whereas the chef knife, it's kind of big and you might slip and hurt yourself. So
this is a boning knife.
This is a boning knife, exactly. And it's also a little bit more flexible, so you can get in and stuff. So now we're going to truss, a different easy way to truss the chicken.
Okay, what is trussing the chicken?
Good question. Trussing is actually, you've probably seen butchers do it. It's actually you take some butcher's twine or string, oven-safe string, and you tie up the chicken or any other meat to prop it up to make it look pretty, and it also helps with even cooking. So, but first of all, you probably don't have any string in your kitchen, right? Probably not yet. And it's kind of a little bit cumbersome to do. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck. So we're going to have a few quick tricks that, approximate a truss. I mean, nothing really takes the place of a good trussing, but this will do the job just as well.
Okay, great.
So what we're going to do is, to be able to prop the, the legs in as much as you can, we're going to try and slit these sides right here, a little slit here and a little slit here, to be able to just tuck the legs inside so that they stay put like this.
That is a good trick.
So we'll first do this one. This probably looks a little bit, just poke it, be careful. And then we're just going to poke the leg right through. You want to be careful because the skin is actually a little bit delicate, and it might pierce all the way, and then then your skin will be back here and not so pretty. So there's one, and let's do the other one. We are going to just poke this guy right through, and there. Now we're gonna salt and pepper the inside. So Zuzy, if you wanna hang on to them and fold them up right here. So now at home, you're gonna probably be doing this by yourself, but it's, you know, just as easy to hold it with one hand and grab the salt and sprinkle and pepper.
So yeah, this is really strange to hold a chicken.
At first,
yeah, at first, but it's part of cooking, so if you're determined to learn how to cook, you gotta get in there.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some salt in there. Make sure you get it all around. That looks good. Get a little pepper. Now, again, if you're doing this at home, it's gonna be really, and you have a pepper mill, it's gonna be really hard to hold it up and do this. So what I do when I'm doing this at home is I get a little dish like this and I just pre-grind some right before and sprinkle it.
Yeah, that looks good? That looks great.
Okay. So now let's flip them over to the other side and we'll make sure we got the top part of the breast in. Just pull them open and try to get into that little cavity down there. That looks good. Little pepper. Okay. Okay, now let's stuff them with our herbs and lemon and garlic. So remember we had the thyme, the bay leaf, the rosemary, and the sage. So we'll just
make a little bouquet.
Not even, we're just sticking it in there. Doesn't really matter. Just
so again, with the herbs, there's no hard rules for doing this. You could really do whatever you like.
Whatever you have on hand. You can substitute dried. If you don't have fresh, you know, they have Italian seasoning, which has basically almost all of these already pre-ground and dried up for you. You just sprinkle some inside, like with the salt and pepper. You want to be careful with the rosemary again, because the rosemary you don't want to use too much of. The sage as well. Super strong, so you just want to put one in there. Then we are going to take our lemon. Definitely squeeze it in there. Might as well get all the juice in there.
Oh yeah, all of those herbs together with the lemon.
You can hold it for
really
me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Squeeze, dump. Super easy. There, all in there.
Beautiful. Look at that color.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Now we've got, we forgot the garlic. I can't forget the garlic. Just dump them right in there. No big deal. Exactly. If this chicken was just for me, there'd be at least another clove or two in there. Take the rest of this lemon and just squeeze a little and rub it. Rub it all around. Get some citrus flavor. Really bright, fresh flavor. Okay. Now, we'll salt and pepper the rest of them. Oh, get in there. All right. You can do that. Just sprinkle all over the body. And I'll put a little pepper.
Okay.
Good. Put a little pepper all around. If you get a little too much salt in a place, just rub it to the other side. No big deal.
Make sure you get it in the crevices.
Exactly. Now let's do the other side, just to be complete. All right.
And we gotta tuck these little babies on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So the wings are the other thing that you want to, because if you don't tuck them in, they're gonna fly out and they're just gonna burn. So just tuck them in. That's it. Now that's it. We are ready to go. I'm gonna bring over the pan. Ready to go. Now we've got our oven preheated at 350, so we'll put it in there. But first, since our hands are really dirty, I'm gonna set this down just for a minute, and let's go wash our hands and wash this board. So we've got our potatoes here. We're gonna make our mashed potatoes. We've already peeled them, and because we peeled them in advance, we wanted to make sure they didn't turn brown. We put them in some water. So that's why they're in that water. But we're actually gonna also cut them a little bit. We're gonna chunk them up, and so they cook a little faster. So let's get right to that.
Okay. I love mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
something so comforting about mashed potatoes, right?
Pass me one too. Great, thank you. So we're just gonna, it doesn't really matter how big you cut them. You just want even sized chunks. The smaller size you cut them, the faster your mashed potatoes will come out.
Okay, great.
So that's just lengthwise. And remember, try to do that same motion again where you're kind of pushing forward at the same time of pushing down.
The elliptical motion. I love that example.
There we go.
And now I'm just...
Sometimes they get stuck, so just kind of slide it off. Be really careful. There you go. And I'm going to go again. Why not? And then in half. Or in threes. We'll just decide how we want it. Threes is good. Depending, how big your potato is. Okay, that's how many times you're going to cut it.
So we want to put these back in water?
Yep, I'm gonna put them right here in this bowl right next to me. I mean, this pot.
So potatoes turn brown very quickly.
Yeah, they oxidize, so to prevent that from happening, we just stick them in a little water. No big deal.
How long can you keep potatoes before they go bad?
First, you gotta make sure that you're storing them properly in a cool, dark place, never in the refrigerator. But you gotta just take a look at them. See if they feel mushy, they're, you know, they gotta be gone.
If they start growing anything?
If we start growing anything, that's probably bad too.
You know, extra spuds from your spuds.
Yeah. All right, and we wanna make sure that, again, this is cold water we're starting them in, and you wanna make sure that they just cover.
Why does the water have to be cold?
You want the water to be cold. You don't want to start in boiling water because if that happens, the potatoes are going to cook from the outside in instead of vice versa. And that's important because what ends up happening is the outside's going to overcook and then the center is going to be underdone.
So it's the opposite of pasta, for example, where with pasta, you make sure your water's boiling first, then you throw it in.
Exactly.
With potatoes, cold water.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
So we're just going to bring this over to the stove. And if you can set that to high heat. There you go. I'm going to put the lid right on there. We're going to let this come up to a boil. As soon as it comes up to a boil, Zuz, we're going to remove the lid and bring it down to a simmer. You really don't ever want to boil potatoes full on blast. You want them to gently simmer. And they'll be done when they're fork tender. And that should take about 20, 25 minutes.
That's good. Let's check on our chicken.
Let's go do it.
Okay.
Looking good. Okay, so here we go. Nice and steaming. Let's look at some great color, right?
Beautiful. It looks beautiful. I think this would impress any guest. And,
I think so too.
And impress yourself with it too.
Good job, Zuz. So let's take our temperature. We want the breast to be at 165 and the thigh and leg should be at 175. So if it's at 160, that's good, or 170 on the thigh, because as it sits here, it's going to come up another 5 degrees or so.
Okay, great. And I have to tell you, once you start cooking like I'm starting to learn now, this has become my best friend because, you know, it's scary when you're first cooking meat on your own. You need to test it to make sure it's at the right temperature.
Definitely. Really important.
I love my meat
thermometer. So this is the breast here. You get 2 sides, so you can pick whichever side you want. And you want to pick the thickest part of the breast. So you want to go in this way. You really don't want to go in this way or from the top. And you don't want to go in too far because you might hit bone or you might get into the cavity of the meat. So let's see. Yep, that looks good.
So why are we checking different areas of the bird?
Because you know what, the breast only needs to come up to 165 to be fully cooked, but any places where there's bone, you're gonna, for the chicken and poultry, it's just gonna have to be to a higher temperature.
Oh, okay, like 170? How long? How high?
170, 175. It's gonna come to 175, so 170 here at this point.
So 165 for the breast and 170 or higher?
175 after it rests, yeah.
Okay.
So this seems like a good spot. And you want to play with it, you know, sometimes you go too far and you might hit a bone and it's gonna come down in temperature. And you want to be as much to the center as possible. 171, we're good. Okay, so that's gonna rest now for 5 minutes.
Why do we need to let it rest?
You want to let it rest, a few things, especially for us. We're gonna carve this chicken, it's super hot right now. We're gonna get our hands burnt. Okay. So you want to rest it for that reason, but also you want to rest it because there's a lot of stuff going on. All the juices are, you know, they're still sizzling in there, and things are all over the place. You cut into that chicken right now, all the juices are going to fly out.
Oh, okay.
We got a dry chicken.
So if you want a juicy bird, let it rest for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
And you know what? The boiled potatoes have to be good by now. Let's go check on those.
All right, let's go.
They've been going for about 20, 25 minutes. So I'm just going to poke in here. I'll poke into this one. Yep. No really resistance. See how it just comes right up.
Good.
Yeah. So let's pour it off. I'm going to pour it off into this colander right here.
Okay.
Gently. Yeah, get the water off first. Looking good.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I'm just going to give it a little shake. And I'm going to put it right back in this pot because it's still pretty hot, so it'll dry off the potatoes so we don't get any watery mashed potatoes.
So how long do we let them sit in the pot?
Just a few minutes, you know. We're going to do a little bit of multitasking here, so we're going back and forth.
All right, let's bring it over to the chicken.
Yeah. Looks good. good. So I'll borrow those from you a little bit because I'm going to get this chicken out of your way. It's still a little too hot for me.
We're going to use my favorite new tool that I've discovered thanks to Chef Patricia. This is a potato ricer. See, I feel like I'm teaching people something now. This makes your potatoes so smooth. Perfect.
Really good for fluffy mashed potatoes.
Fluffy, creamy mashed potatoes. If you like the chunky kind, still use the
You can use a regular masher. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, great.
But we like this one.
I've been practicing.
Give you a hand. I'll pour them in there for you. Still pretty hot, so be careful. Don't overfill it, because the more you fill it, the harder it's going to be to squeeze it out. It's kind of like a big garlic
Then you
press.
just squeeze out. It looks like Play-Doh.
It does.
I love it. Anything that reminds me of Play-Doh is good for me.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got some kiddies at home, they could so be in charge of this.
They would totally love this. They look like hash browns.
They do.
I'm telling you, these taste so good. You definitely have to try this at home.
Take that off your hands. We got our milk, our salt, our pepper, and butter. We're set to go. Okay. So now, Zuzy, I'll mix, and if you could give me a little bit of butter.
Okay.
While we have them nice and hot.
This butter's nice and soft, like room temperature.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, I made smaller pieces so that
How much butter is this?
It's about a stick of butter.
Okay.
We may or may not use it all. All depends how creamy we want it, right?
That's right.
Just get it all in there.
So first you put your butter in while the potatoes are really hot so it can melt the butter.
Yeah. Because now that they're mashed like this, they're going to really take up all that butter.
Look how smooth they already look.
Yeah.
So obviously you can make this recipe as healthy or as
decadent as you want. Let's leave it like that.
Decadent as you want it to be. Here we're adding a little butter. We have milk and a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, we're using whole milk today, but if you, again, you can use skim or 1% or even half and half or cream. So
is that good?
That's fine. That's fine. We'll do a little taste test in a little bit. But you can see they're pretty creamy already. Like we might not even need too much milk at all.
Do we need? Do we put salt next or milk?
Whichever one you want. Doesn't really matter.
Let's pour a little milk in.
That's good.
And while we're at it, so how generous should I be with the salt here?
It really is to your taste.
I guess you have to taste it.
You have to taste your food. Always taste your food. Very important. So put a little more. That's good. And give me some cracks of pepper there.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
This is how easy this is. I'm telling you, the hardest thing is to boil the potatoes. Well, it's not hard. The longest thing. Longest thing is to boil the potatoes. You use your ricer, salt, pepper, butter, milk, or dairy.
Want to give it a quick taste? I see some forks there.
Dairy product of your choice. Okay, great.
What do you think?
They're so smooth.
They probably just melt right in your mouth,
I don't think we need anything else. It was perfect.
Perfect. All right.
They're delicious.
And we'll just platter these up in that pretty bowl you got over there.
Okay, great. I'll put it in the platter. Okay, we're ready for our chicken now. I can't wait to have this meal.
Here it comes. There we go. Look at that guy.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Yeah. And those roasted veggies underneath are perfect. Yes. I'm ready to impress some guests.
Yes, I'm going to just use my hand. It's a little cooler now. I think I can handle it. I'll bring him over. Oops, little potato fell out.
Oh, I'll put these into our serving platter.
Absolutely. Go for it. And I'm going to just get started right here. I'm going to turn him around and start pulling out the pieces. Put it into my little trash bowl here. Got the thyme, got some lemon.
So obviously you should take those out. Is there a reason you shouldn't
so they don't
eat
get in the
those?
way? No, you can't eat them at this point. No, I mean, you don't really want to eat. They're on the stem, and so that looks good. Okay, it looks very pretty.
These are beautiful.
Yeah,
look at that.
Great.
Okay.
Looks good. We'll move this off. Get right into our chicken here. Typically, when you carve a chicken, use one of these, a carving knife and your fork to get nice slices off the breast. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna serve our chicken is in pieces. We're gonna separate the breast and the thigh and the leg and the wings. That's what we're gonna do. And I find that what's really easy is using kitchen shears.
I would never think to use kitchen shears.
Yeah, you know what? It really, and I don't usually, but I think this is just easier than using a boning knife, which is really what should be used when you're quartering a chicken or
That's
cutting it
a really
up.
good tip now.
And we may go to using that for some pieces, but to start off, I want to just show you this.
So where do you start?
Really, you would start, see, you can even see there's a line right here, breast. You would just cut right down the middle. You can feel it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty easy.
You're gonna hear some bone. And that's that. So that, now we've got that split open, and you could split it open at this point right now to finish getting out the rest of the lemon.
Oh, okay.
There's still some more stuff in there that I couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Bay leaf, garlic. So now I'm still gonna come back and use the boning knife just to separate. Just wanna follow the lines of the chicken, follow the nature. Get on this side as well. There. And I'm just gonna grab right by the thigh and just pull it open. You're gonna hear a crack. There you go. Trying to separate.
That is so interesting. I would never think to do that. But yeah, it's pretty easy. So you cut down the middle.
You see the bone right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thigh bone. So right where the knuckle is. Let me move this off here. Right where the knuckle is, you just want to cut right there, because that's just the backbone.
And now you have a beautiful
You got
piece.
a beautiful piece of chicken there.
So you cut down the middle, then you take the wings and the drumsticks and you crack them backward.
Crack them back, and you can just, and usually it'll just snap right for you. This one doesn't want to snap. There it goes. It's snapping now. Woo.
And it just comes right off. It's so tender. That looks beautiful.
Now you can pay attention.
It looks so juicy too.
Here's the backbone. We're not going to serve that today.
And now you have your breast left.
Now you have your breast. So we've got it cut basically. I'm going to get my knife just to, I really love my meat, so I want to get every little piece of it.
So you're just going along the ribs there.
Going along the ribs, yeah, because there's still some bone there.
So
Woo, it's hot.
that's why they call it a boning knife, huh?
Yeah, because it's really small enough so that you can get into these little nooks and crannies of the bone and really be able to separate it.